Welcome, everybody. I think we're going to get started. I know all you Vermont Law School people are really ready to chat and debate, so we'll just let's just get started. Says we've got a great program for you today. I'm just wanted to welcome you. I'm Frank Masano. I'm in the Bracewell, DC office. I run our strategic communications practice with another couple of people. At Bracewell, we have lawyers like your alumni Jason Hutt, who do the actual legal aspects of these things. We have lobbyists who do the federal lobbying, and we have strategic communications people who talk to reporters, and we put all these pieces together. And so it works really well for clients a lot of times who are not only in trouble with the law, but in trouble with the press or in trouble with government. So anyway, so that's I'm stepping in for Jason today, and so I'm happy to do it and welcome you guys. We're all here, obviously, because it's Climate Week, but beyond the UN General Assembly meetings, which has snarled much of the traffic, there's a million other events happening on climate finance, on technology. I did one last night with Newsweek on AI. So we're really covering the gamut of events here. And, it's become its own type of Zero Week for climate, in a sense, up here in New York. So if you all know what Zero Week is, it's the big energy conference in Houston. So anyway, I'm happy to welcome you here. This is a great topic. It's a great time for this topic. Energy transition is really on everybody's mind, on everybody's technology list, on everybody's legal list. So you guys are well positioned to play a big role in that. And I don't think our students are here yet. That was more aimed at them than anyone else. So we're glad to have you, and I'm going to turn it over to President SMOLLA and let him welcome you as well, and then we'll get the program started. So thanks for being here, and enjoy the hospitality.
Thanks, Frank, and thanks to Bracewell, both for your hospitality in Washington and now here in New York, and we're very pleased with the partnership that we have with you. So as Frank alluded, there's a lot happening in the city. The mayor's been indicted, the United Nations is in session, and this is Climate Week. But to borrow from the Broadway show, Alexander Hamilton, this is the room where it happens, okay? Of all the places you could be, this is where we'll have the most intellectual stimulation and excitement. For those of you that are graduates of the school, for those of you that are colleagues in business, in government, in the space that deals with matters relating to energy and the intersection of energy and the environment, let the word go forth. The Vermont Law and Graduate School is on the make and aggressively recruiting new faculty. We are in the midst of commencing searches this month for 11 open faculty positions. This is a transformative moment in the history of the school, reinvesting in the storied program that the school has had for such a long time. So if any of you ever thought you might want to be a professor, or if you know folks with talent from anywhere in the country or the world that might find it deeply meaningful to spend a life of the mind teaching students, doing scholarship, engaged in advocacy in this critical arena in the world's history, tell them to think about coming to live in beautiful, magical Vermont, where you can have a wonderful lifestyle and an extraordinarily rewarding and meaningful career. I will now invite the interim director of the Institute, Mark James, to share some reflections in memory of our dear departed Kevin Jones. Mark?
Thank you, President SMOLLA, and thank you, Frank, for making available space here at Bracewell. This is just a great opportunity to gather our alumni together to think about what is coming up next, and also just to take the time to remember our friend and our colleague and our mentor and our teacher, and for some of us, all of that all together, Kevin Jones, who I had the luck to spend a decade in an office that was about 8 feet away from his door, and to transition from a student into a colleague, and now trying to live up to what he had set out as the director in my current role as the interim director. And when Kevin passed, one of the first things that we thought of that we want to, how do we honor someone who made it his mission to lift up his students and his alumni and to celebrate everything that they were going to do and everything that they had done. So we established the Kevin B. Jones Fund, which has set out a fundraising goal of $100,000, and what it will do is it will support the academic and professional development of our energy students. It will bring students to conferences like this. It will support them to take internships that they might not have been able to afford otherwise. It will get them access into organizations where they can network and meet and share some of what President SMOLLA talked about as our community spirit, our desire to lead in our energy transition, and our desire to incorporate justice along every step of the way. So we did do that, and hopefully that will honor Kevin, because he did find success in everyone else's success, that he would appear around my door for what he promised would be a 5-minute conversation, but he could never manage to keep himself below 45, if anyone had talked to Kevin for any length of time, because he just got so excited about what someone had done and how that connected to this other person, and we should do this. And now that all becomes our part of our responsibility. And I already see our alumni who are doing that in their response after Kevin's passing. So I'm grateful for all of that. And I'm excited about what is to come too, as I look and see current and former students here. So I want to first take time to acknowledge our sponsors, who have generously donated to support our program. We've been told that all of the proceeds from their sponsorship will go towards the Kevin B. Jones Fund. So I am deeply grateful, probably beyond any way that I can express it, for that. So we have our innovative sponsors, which are Rich Miller, who is co-chair of the New York City Bar Association Energy Committee, and Holland Knight. And Rich is the one who can probably tell a lot of really good Kevin stories, having worked with him for a long time. So please find him and get them, because I will be doing the exact same thing. Our Explorer sponsor, which is ConEd Transmission, so thank you. And our visionary sponsor, which is Target, and we thank you for your sponsorship. Again, just incredibly grateful for that, and hopefully as we move forward, we'll be using those funds to support what Kevin wanted to do, was to help our students make great change. So, and now on the administrative things for CLE requirements. If you're in person, there are sign-in sheets and sign-out sheets as part of the tracking process. So if you do that, you sign in, provide your bar number, and make sure that whenever you leave, you sign out. And there also will be a feedback form. I will go through all of this again at the end of the program too, to make sure that we're doing that. And you can be eligible for up to 3 hours of CLE credits. If you're virtual, you can send your bar number and state of admission to Brock Monroe, and we'll post that information in our chat, so you have that available. We track attendance through Microsoft Teams, and you need full session attendance in order to get your CLE credit. So that and feedback form will be mailed out to people who are seeking to do that. So that's the administrative part. Now comes the fun part, where we get to go to Energy Nerd Time. And this is an event that Kevin sort of conceived of and started in 2014. And it was the one day of the year where he put on a tie. He said he was done with that. His professional career had been spent wearing ties. And when he got to Vermont, like many of us, he said, I'm not doing that anymore. But for one day a year, he would put on a tie, and this was the event. And it was when he would come back and share stories about all the cool things that is happening and what could we do, how could we get our students involved. So that's what we will spend our afternoon together with. I will now get ready to turn it over to our first panel and invite them to come up to the stage. And so with that, let's begin.